fans. How are we all doing tonight? I'm going to switch views here. Dave is actually running a bit late, and he will be joining us shortly. So, life here in Phoenix, it's crazy. It's, I guess, whatever. But hey, we're here. Happy Wednesday, everyone. I'm Chuck, and of course, Dave will be here in every second. Football and beer, that's why we're here. Talk a little bit of football. A lot happened in week 3, and looking forward to some tough games in week 4. Dave and I both had a very successful pick week, and we're going to get into that for sure. But again, we wouldn't be football and beer if we didn't talk about a little bit about the brews we selected. This week I had bought a 12-pack of the Golden Road Brewing different things, and one of them they had in there, and this was an interesting one. But the spicy mango cart, and kind of like you would think it was kind of like those spicy mango margaritas, which are actually really good. Manuel's down here, they muddle a bunch of jalapenos, got seeds in it, some tahini on the rim. That's a really good margarita. Hey, Jim, thanks, and Cindy, thanks for joining the show as always. And nice to have all of our faithful viewers here. And so we got the mango cart. It's just a little bit of a dirty filter there, unfiltered brew, and it's kind of tasty. It leaves a little bit of the spice on the back of your tongue there. So hey, interesting week in week 3. I have to be honest, I'm very excited about my Arizona Cardinals. What a big letdown by the Cowboys, but really who's surprised when the Cowboys let their fans down? Unfortunately, it was a game that I was scheduled to go to. I had a death in the family and couldn't make the game this week. But my tailgate buddies and Colt Kinney and Robert, they were there to be able to see the Cardinals get a win when everyone thought they were going to go 0-17, and so it was great to see that the team, actually knowing that they're basic underdogs throughout the entire year, to actually step up and show some dominance in this game. Unlike the Giants game, they came out and took care of business in the second half and didn't take their foot off the pedal like they did against the Giants, who they let back in the game. So realistically, the Cardinals have been competitive and have had leads in all 3 games this season, and very well could be 3-0. And so the defense is flying around, getting a lot of pressure on the quarterbacks. The DBs are holding their own against the receivers in the NFL. So that's honestly, it's a really good sign to see the defense, especially as you lose a leader in J.J. Watt, and you got Budda Baker out. So I mean, you've got some holes to fill there, and good on them. Hey, while we wait for Dave, I'm going to go ahead and get into who my offensive defensive players of the week were. And for me, I really like this game. I mean, there was a ton of offense in this game for the Chargers. Keenan Allen, Williams, Herbert, but for me, Keenan Allen was my offensive player of the week. Like 215 yards, 18 of 20 catches. And he even actually threw a touchdown pass on a little trickery they had going on there. So he even has a throwing touchdown for the week. So so my offensive player is Keenan Allen of the I keep wanting to say San Diego, Los Angeles Chargers. My defensive player of the week is actually the same as Dave's this week. I didn't plan it that way, but Myles Garrett of the Cleveland Browns. Defensive end. We actually both picked Myles Garrett as our defensive player of the week. And 3.5 sacks, like 5 QB hits and 9 pressures. I mean, the guy was just flying all over the place. The Browns really needed to have a good win, or actually get a win, and the defense stepped up and took care of business for them. Welcome, Dave. Happy football day, Wednesday. I forgot what day it was. How you doing, man?
Good, man. Sorry I was late. I just, I had to get my beer. we are football and beer, and appropriately, I have something called Huck It. Isn't that what some of these quarterbacks are doing so far this year? They're just kind of hucking it, but is a Huckleberry beer. So those of you also Huckleberry Blonde from the Pacific Northwest will appreciate that because huckleberries only grow in the Pacific Northwest. And us being Pacific Northwest fellas, I went for this Huckleberry beer from Big Sky Brewing in Montana.
Very good. Huckleberry.
Mhm.
We used to. Now that I think about it, I think we'd go up and pick those up by Rooks Park.
Yeah,
That's huckleberry trees or bushes or whatever you call them up there.
delicious.
Yeah. So I went through mine already. Just kind of out of that 12 pack that we were enjoying this weekend. That mango cart spicy
Oh yeah.
mango. Gotta leave a little bit of spice on the back of your tongue there. So I've already covered that. I covered my offensive player of the week was Keenan Allen for the Chargers, 215 receiving yards, 18 to 20, and a throwing and a passing touchdown. Who was your offensive player of the week?
So I had two of them, and that's just because any team that scores 70 points must have had someone that's worthy of a player of the week. And they had two of them. So both their running backs for Miami had 4 touchdowns. So Mostert had three rushing, one receiving, and the other running back, I believe, had two and two rushing, two receiving. Um, so yeah, mine are the two Dolphin running backs are my offensive players of the week.
Awesome. Who was what was so we already kind of talked about Miles Garrett. Anything you wanted to add about Miles?
That was just his career day. That was the most sacks he had in one game was 3.5 so far in his career. So yeah, he was definitely my defensive player of the week.
What was your game of the week?
My game of the week was Saints at Packers. Lots of stuff happened. I mean, Carr got hurt, so that's not great for the Saints. But then you had a Jameis Winston sighting, and what was going to happen with that? Jordan Love came back. That was his first Packers home game. So to win your first home opener is great for him as a young quarterback. And they Winston drove them down the field. They had a chance with 1:10 left to kick a field goal, and the kicker missed it. And then Green Bay was able to run out the last minute 10. So 18-17 score, 1 point game. Saints could have took the lead with a minute left, and kicker missed it with Jameis in, backup quarterback in. So pretty exciting game. Rookie, or not rookie, but Jordan Love gets his first home win. Very memorable for him.
Yeah, that was a good game. Mine was actually I kind of talked. I opened the show talking about this a little bit. Mine was actually the Cardinals and Cowboys. It was a exciting game to watch. I kept waiting in the second half for the Cardinals to give it away like they did against the Giants. So I kind of was just kind of waiting for that ball to drop. But you know what? The defense just kept flying around and pressuring Dak. And honestly, that's what really got me excited this week was just watching the Cardinals defense. Take it to the who everyone thought was one of the best teams in the NFL might still be, but Cardinals whooped up on them, and to have an interception in the end zone to basically put the game away, and at the end there, Cowboys had a lot of questionable calls in that last series, but still, you put it on Dak, and he threw an interception to seal it for the Cardinals, and yeah, so I was just I was all over the place. I was getting ready for our dinner on Sunday night, and outside watching that game, and I was hooting and hollering and enjoying every second of it. But again, getting a little I was getting a little nervous in the second half, and but and then even Matt Prater, 62-yard field goal to end the half. I mean, kid still got it. Old man Prater still got the leg. So, yeah, good on them.
Yeah, I was
Oh,
excited for you when I came over because I didn't. I mean, just to tell everyone watching, I didn't get to watch a lot of football this weekend with the move. I was busy with my wife furniture shopping as we don't have any furniture. We didn't bring any from California. I don't have a couch for 2 weeks. Don't have anything. So we were furniture shopping, And I was trying to kind of look at scores a little bit while I was waiting in some of the furniture stores. But when I got to Chuck's house this weekend, I mean, I was greeted with a very big fists up in the air pumping, and I knew they had held on to the lead I had seen earlier. So I was happy for Chuck and happy for my new state of Arizona. That's a very big win. I mean, if you go back to last week's picks and what we called, I mean, you can just see what I said. I thought there was no chance in hell they were winning that game against the Cowboys, and I thought the Cowboys defense would do a lot better than they did against the Cardinals offense. And so kudos to those Cardinals.
They took care of Micah Parsons for the most part. He had 1 sack, and but other than that, they really took care of him, and and got him out of his element. You could see he was a little bit flustered at times, and but yeah. So all right, so I got a new graphic coming up for our coaching hots. Trying to bring something new each week. So here's our coaching hot seat. All right, now I got to get back to banner so I can put up that. So my coaching hot seat is actually Kevin O'Connell of the Minnesota Vikings. 0-3 start, and but I'm not gonna lie, I'm not surprised just because you can't. I mean, you get rid of Dalvin Cook. I mean, you cannot. So my whole thing would be, why are you even bringing back Kirk Cousins? You're not going to win a Super Bowl. They're like the Raiders, hanging on to Derek Carr for so long. You're just not going to get there. And he's just not the guy. David Carr wasn't the guy in Las Vegas. I mean, you can go on down the list. I think we said the same thing about the Cowboys quarterback. It's just like, the last one. You just can't. You're just, it's a perennial. We'll make it to the edge of the playoffs, maybe into the playoffs and lose out, but you're not going to win a championship with Kirk Cousins. I just don't believe it. And so I just didn't think it was a good idea to bring him back, especially if you're getting rid of Dalvin Cook, because you have to take pressure off of Kirk Cousins, having to win the game. And, so, if you're a team coming in, well, I'll just guard, Jefferson, and we'll, hope for the best. And that's pretty much working out for teams. And so Kevin O'Connell, 0-3, just bad coaching decisions, I think, in the offseason has really led them to this 0-3 start.
Yeah, that's a pretty good pick. I mean, they've underperformed. They have a lot of talent there. But my coaching hot seat, my selection was Sean Payton of the Broncos. I know he's fresh back. He hasn't coached for a few years, but you cannot let a team drop 70 points on you. You cannot allow 2 different running backs to score 4 touchdowns apiece on you. I mean, 70-20? What are we even? That is crazy talk.
Yeah.
If you sat me down on Tecmo Bowl on the NES system, I could not score 70 points if I tried on a video game. That is crazy numbers, and just for the fact you let a team drop 70 on you, and it hasn't been going well. Let's be honest. Since the start of the season, seems like you hate the quarterback hates you. That's the biggest relationship you need to have on your team, is a good relationship between the coach and your starting quarterback. Doesn't seem like that's there. Broncos suck. They're not playing well, and a 50-point loss. 50 points in the NFL. Professionals getting paid. You got beat by 50. You don't get beat by 50 in basketball. You don't get beat 50 on any other sport. I can't think of any other sport you would lose by 50. Like, that's insane. So, yeah, it's got to be Sean Payton. It's just not working out. He might have been a great coach back when he had, a good roster on the Saints. He had a Drew Brees. Well, guess what? This ain't the Saints, man. You don't got Drew Brees. You don't got that anymore. You haven't coached for a few years. this ain't working out, man. I don't see you being the answer as the coach there for what's happening in Denver.
Yeah, no, that's tough. And there's a few teams out there that I think they're already losing the locker room. I mean, it's happened with the Broncos. I think there's definitely a riff with Wilson. You've got the Jets. Was it the Jets player that in the locker room was saying, "I've been here for seven years," and that's is it Jets or yeah,
Broncos
it was a
lineman.
Broncos. Oh
It's a
yeah, I've
Broncos
been here for
lineman.
7 years, and so.
All I do is
Um,
lose.
Yeah, and all you do
No.
is lose, and and there's discontent in the Jets locker room about Zach Wilson being the guy, and and we've only played 3 games. We've only played 3 games, and I mean, there's a serious. Uh, oh gosh, hang on. Siri just woke up. Sorry, because I said the word serious. Um, and Siri woke up and took over my headphones. Anyway, all right. So we got some picks to get into. Before we do, let's take a look. Dave and I had a fantastic week of picking football games against the spread, mind you, not just winners losers, but with the spreads. We both correctly picked 13 of the 16 games this week. I mean, we should just head to Vegas and take all of our paychecks and just flop it down this week, and just be rolling in the dough next week when we pick 3 wins and 13 losses. But no, we did. I mean, fantastic. I can't remember if over the years if we've well, collectively together we haven't done this well at the same time. Maybe one of us has done 11, 12, 13 games in a week. But yeah, so yeah, we're 13-3 this week overall. That for the season wins, I'm at 30, you're at 27. To my 18 losses, you're 21. I've won 2 weeks, you haven't won a week yet. I was tempted to give us both a win this week, but we'll win that outright, and we'll just score that outright. And because I mean, when you're getting 13 out of 16 games correct with picking the spread, that is definitely a win. So I've got a 62.5 win percentage to your 56.25. But hey, early in the season, and you're gonna have your weeks, and yeah. So usually in the season, I get out to an early lead, and then you always pull me back in, and it becomes a tight race at the end of the season. So we'll see how that goes. All right, so let's get in and talk about a little bit of Week 4 action, and we got some games coming up this week. Have I missed anything yet? I don't think so. Yeah, so let's talk a little bit of Week 4 football. I was actually looking at the games this week, and it is absolutely not going to be as easy to pick games this week as it was last week. And I'm not saying last week was really easy, but but yeah. So we Thursday, tomorrow night, Lions going to face the Packers. Lions are 1.5-point favorite on the road. What say you, Mr. Webb?
Man, this is a tough one. I mean, Packers had to win at the end, kind of. Saints had a chance to beat them. I don't know if the Saints are as good as the Lions, but Saints did have their backup quarterback in at the end of the game. So how am I going to look at this? Packers always have a home field advantage, that's for sure. I don't even know if they let away fans into Lambeau Field. It's basically 100% Packer fans when you go there. Man, it's really small too. That 1.5. They say Aaron Jones might be back. Watson might be back at receiver for the Packers, so they might have some more firepower in offense. Man, you know what? I'm gonna go Packers just because they're at home, and I like how they held that win against the Saints. Even though if it was against Winston, he's been a starting quarterback. He's not awful. And the Lions, I think they're getting better, but they're inconsistent. I still don't know if they've taken that step to be a good team yet. I think they could beat anyone any given week, you just never know really when those weeks are yet. I mean, they lost by 10 to the Seahawks. And I don't think the Seahawks are world beaters. So I
No.
don't know how to view the Lions, really. So just for that fact, I'm going to take the Packers at home.
That is a smart pick, and if I was going to pick the Packers, it would only be because of their fans. Uh, might have been, I'm actually going to go with the Lions on this, and I'm going to take the Lions on the road. I just have a little bit more faith in the Lions than I do the Packers. But yeah, it's yeah. I mean, for Noah, I have no reason to pick the Lions other than I'm not trying to just be different here. I really believe the Lions can actually win this game, and I guess if they lose by a point, I still win, right? So no, the Packers lose. No, so I need two. Okay, so I need a field goal or safety, and oh, that half point. Maybe I'll change my mind. No, I'll take the Lions. Moving on. Falcons visiting the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jaguars are favored at home by that home field 3-point field goal. This is another one. I mean, the Falcons with the letdown last week. Jaguars. It's the same thing. There's just what's the consistency now going to be? Falcons came out with a great start and a letdown last week. I don't know. I'm not going to pick. No, I'm kidding. I'm gonna go. I'll go with the Jaguars at home. I'm just gonna go with the Jags at home.
Yeah, I'm just going to take the Jags. Sit there at home. I know the Falcons are 2-1. I'm not really sure how. When I look at that roster and their quarterback, they don't seem that great on paper. But yeah, just the fact that Atlanta's not taking a very far trip either. It's not a big road distance for them to go from Atlanta to Jacksonville. But I'll take the Jaguars just because they're at home also.
Okay, we're samesies there. Here's it. This will be a really good game. Dolphins going to Buffalo. Buffalo is favored at home by 2.5. Dolphins who dropped 70 on the Broncos. But the Bills' defense has actually been playing as one of the top defenses this season. Who you got here? It's crazy.
You know,
This is gonna be a crazy game.
just the way the Dolphins are scoring and the way that the coach is calling plays and they are able to move that ball every single game. Really, with the Bills, I don't know. I'm still wishy washy if they're going to score points every single game. Like when Allen's on, he's on, and when Diggs is on, they're on together. But other than those two, they don't have a run game. I mean, Gabe Davis, he catches a few balls away from Diggs here and there. He has inconsistent good games. Um, I just don't know if the Bills right now can score with the Dolphins. Dolphins are scoring points, man. I mean, they scored 70. They scored big in the first game. So I just think if this turns into who can, whichever game is who can score more points, that's how you win. But I'm going to go with the Dolphins. I just feel like the Bills aren't going to be able to score enough points to run with the Dolphins offense right now. They're just kind of in a groove. And I mean, I don't know if of course I don't see them scoring 70 again, but I also don't see them just scoring like 13 or 17 or something like that either. So I'm going to run with the Dolphins just cuz I think their offense is really clicking early in the season.
Yeah, I was watching a lot of back and forth on TV about this, and there was like, the Bills have one of the, a top run defensive, team, but that's not the team you're playing this week, and people are not really, I think, looking at the fact that the Dolphins can throw the ball and they've got a few options, obviously Tyreek Hill, but they've got more weapons. They can spread the ball around. They're not afraid to take risks. This is a tough one for me. I really want to pick the Bills. I really do. I really want to believe that the Bills can slow down the Dolphins. I agree with you that I just don't think the Bills can score with the Dolphins, especially if the Dolphins get a lead. I mean, we've seen that's kind of where the Bills start to falter is and Josh Allen start taking risks, like game one, start hucking things down the field into anyone land and and get the interceptions. So I'm going to go with the Dolphins. I'm with you. I'm going to go with the Dolphins. Oh, that's a scary one. It might be regretting that pick, but we'll see. So this is an embarrassment. This spread is an absolute embarrassment. You got 70 points dropped on you, and you're favored on the road by more than a field goal. You got 70 dropped on you. This is an embarrassment to the Bears. The team we're playing at home got 70 dropped on them, and they're 3.5-point favorites in our house. Unreal. I'm still taking the Bears. I have no reason to take the Bears. I think the Broncos are broken. They're both broken, but I just think the Bears just show up still and try. I just think the Broncos are broken. Those Broncs have been broke. We broke those Broncs. Little horse riding humor there. But I'm going to take the Bears at home.
This makes me feel like Las Vegas thinks that the Bears are the worst team in the NFL, like easily. Like you just said, the Broncos lost by 50 points, and they're on the road, and they're the favorite by more than a field goal. That's like the biggest disrespectful line I've ever seen. Maybe one and a half, but more than a field goal, and you just lost by 50. That's nuts. I have to take the Bears too. I think this might be the game that breaks the Broncos too. Like if the Bears win this game, how terrible they are. If I'm the new owner of that Bronco team, I get through this season the best I can, and then I fire everybody. I don't even care how much it's going to cost out of pocket. I still got to pay Russell whatever it is. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, if you have a couple employees that are ruining your whole franchise, they're ruining your whole business, to make business go forward, you got to cut them loose. Right? Because it's the Denver Broncos. It's not the Peyton whatevers. It's not the Russell Wilson whatevers. The Broncos have been here for a long time. The Broncos are going to be here for a long time. Coaches come and go. Players come and go. And I think that's where the Broncos should be right now. Whatever illusion that they had in their mind that Russell was the guy and Sean was going to be the coach, this isn't working out. And I don't see it getting much better. And if they lose to the Bears, I think you have to already, after week 4, reanalyze your whole franchise plan and scrap it. And it's not going to work. Plus, it's not like Russell's young. Who knows if Sean really even wanted to coach? He hadn't for 3 years. Why? 1 year he got suspended, right? But then a couple years he just earned that commentator money, right? So is he really in it? If you're really in it, once you're done with your suspension after that 1 year, wouldn't you come back? If you really love coaching, he would have got a bunch of offers to a bunch of different places. He was very sought after. It's not working out. So I have to take my Bears. I just think the Broncos that's a miserable situation all around over there.
Yeah. It is, and I agree with you. It's just like some of these other teams that are you're just waiting. Something's going to happen, if these teams keep losing, so early in the season, there's going to be shakeup. It's ugly for some of these teams, and Broncos, Bears, Jets, Minnesota. There's a lot of teams out there that are just in a bad way right now. All right. Ravens and Browns. Browns finally get a victory and behind their defense, and you know, I was kind of, I don't know if I'm shocked or not, but Browns are favored at home here, and by 3. Not a lot of big spreads this week, but yeah. So who do you got here?
This is tough. The Browns have a good defense. They've shown they have a good defense. Myles Garrett was our defensive player of the week. Obviously, they have a stud there that can influence a game. The Ravens, Lamar Jackson did have the injury. He came back. I don't think he really knows who to get the ball to there yet. He doesn't really have a go to receiver. I think they thought Beckham Jr. was going to be some sort of veteran answer, but he didn't even play
Mhm.
last week. Um, they got a young receiver, Flowers. They got a young, Bateman, but he's inconsistent. And I just think Lamar Jackson can't do everything for that team. They got their backup running back in. And the Browns do have Amari Cooper. They still ran the ball pretty well without Nick Chubb. Like, they got it done. So I think at home right now, I'm going to take the Browns just because they're at home. And I don't know what identity the Ravens really have right now. I mean, they don't have MVP Lamar Jackson. They have a good quarterback, but he's not MVP Lamar Jackson right now. And I don't think he has the weapons right now. And the Browns' defense is so good. I think this could be a very low scoring game where, yeah, you keep it low scoring. I think that's in the Browns' favor, and they can kick a field goal at home to win it.
Yeah, I gotta go. I gotta go with the Browns here, just because the Ravens' offense just isn't. They're not putting anything together. Lamar Jackson, didn't have any uh, touchdowns last week. Or actually, he had 2 rushing touchdowns, but no passing touchdowns. And so I just think that, yeah, they're just not solid on offense, and I think this could be a defensive game again. And I guess if that's the case, then I'm going to give the scales are going to tip towards the Browns. So I'll take the Browns at home, also by 3. All righty. Oh, no, get my mouse over here. All right, Bengals and the Titans. I think I went out on a limb this week and said, you know what, last week and said I don't want to pick the Titans, and I picked the Titans, and the Titans screwed me and out of a clear win this week, and by losing, and it's just I'm not picking the Titans again. I know it was my pick. I think, yeah. So I'm taking the Bengals on the road 2.5, but the Bengals just are still looking like a mess.
Yeah, I'm with you on this one. I mean, you got your favorite quarterback, Ryan Tannehill, at home. And the Titans, I don't know how it's possible, but Derrick Henry got 20 yards rushing last week. How is that even possible? If you're an offensive lineman or the offensive coordinator or the offensive line coach, that's disgraceful. For him to touch the ball like 13, 14 times and have 20 yards, that's insane. Um, just for that fact, I'm going to pick the Bengals. And Burrows is really struggling like I never thought he would the jump of this first 3 games of the season. But I think maybe he starts to figure it out, and this team starts to kind of piece it together. They did get a win over a Rams team that's not great, but they're not terrible. It's kind of okay. But they got that win, and it's a field goal. They need to win by a field goal, and I think the Bengals can win by a field goal too.
Yeah, yeah. The Bengals they're a hurting bunch. But I mean, they squeaked out a win last week, but still, not who we thought they were going to be at this point in the season. I think they've really gone backwards. All right, so speaking of the Rams and they're going on the road to Indianapolis to play the Colts. Colts are favored at home by a whopping 1 point, and whoo, a lot of faith Vegas has with the Colts at home. This is yeah, and just to see I mean, the Rams aren't that bad a team, but the Colts, and they beat the Ravens. This is a tough one. Um, I'm going to take the Rams on the road. I'm going to take the Rams on the road.
I think I'm gonna have to go the home team. I mean, you got Minshew Magic, you got the Coug back there winning games all of a sudden off the bench. Minshew Magic. I mean, anytime you have a quarterback that looks like a '70s porn star, your odds are fairly good, right? That you're gonna win the game. Um, yeah, their defense is playing good enough. The defensive line's pretty good. They still don't have Cooper Cup back from the Rams. It's still a struggle for the Rams offense to kind of get up and down. You saw that the kid, the young receiver from the Rams, had a great couple games. First two games, he got not as good of a game. Third game, people are figuring that out. Defenses are figuring that out. Colts get pretty good pressure. Stafford's not going anywhere. He's not scrambling around. You know where he's going to be if he drops back. So I'll take. I don't know how the Colts are winning, but they are. I'll take the Colts by one at home.
I have to change my pick, and this is the reason why. It's not because of anything you said. I have Zach Moss as a running back on my fantasy team, and he crushed it last week for me. And I got to stick with that kid. So I'm going to take the Colts just so he can run up a. I hate to, I don't want to have to be sitting there going, hey Zach, do great, but hey Rams win. Yeah, that's a tough one. So just for fantasy reasons, I'm going to change that to pick the Colts. All right. Well, this was a game that the Bucks. This was one of my losses last week because I really had a lot of faith in the Bucks and the way they started and I think I was too high on that horse. Yeah. So Bucks Saints at home by 3.5. Who you got here? Is
You
Derek
know,
Carr going to be back this week? No.
I don't think so. I mean, he got injured pretty good, I think. Even if he was, I don't know. Mayfield's not playing terrible. They did lose last week, but they haven't been playing bad. It's not that far of a trip. It's a division game, so it's I think going to be close. It's 3.5. That half a point, that tricky .5, I think is why I'm going to take the Bucks. Because if the Bucks don't win this game, I bet they could lose by 3 and still cover the spread. Because I think it'll be close enough that the Saints do win. It's going to be by like maybe a field goal. So I'm going to take the Bucks.
Yeah, I was just reading that he didn't practice today. Jameis Winston's been taking all of the snaps, but he hasn't been ruled out yet for Sunday, but he probably will. So, uh, yeah, I think it's going to be Jameis Winston. Honestly, I would probably say I feel if I'm a Saints, I'm probably feeling pretty good if Jameis is playing. I don't think there's a big drop off there, but anyway, I'm taking the Bucks on the road, and to bounce back from their loss last week, and they've got enough weapons there um, to outscore the Saints. So yeah, I'm taking the Bucks on the road. Feeling pretty good about that one. Commanders Eagles. Woohoo! It'll be a fun game. The biggest spread I've seen so far. I don't know if this is the biggest. No, it's not the biggest spread of the week. I was scrolling down. Commanders Eagles. Eagles are favored by 8.5 at home, and I'm taking the Eagles at home with this one. Not even going to think about it. Commanders are playing good defense. Not going to take that away from them at all. But I just think that this is going to be one of the Commanders' toughest tests so far this year, and playing the Eagles. And I think it's kind of like Colorado going and play the Ducks. You just kind of once you get to that next level team, you start to realize where you're at. And I think that the Eagles should be able to cover the 8.5 points at home.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to take the Eagles. Commanders aren't consistent. They don't have a lot. They have a crappy name. It's a division game. Eagles are solid all over the place. It's a division game. The Eagles hate the Commanders. They're going to try to bury them. So if they can get up early, they're just going to pour it on. So I'm going to take the Eagles also.
Did you see that? I think it's a Navajo tribe or something that's suing the Commanders to change the name back to the Redskins.
I wish they would.
A lawsuit was filed, and I don't know that there's really any standing, but might just be for show. But but when when the Navajo Nation is suing suing to have the name changed back to the Redskins. Anywho, all right, where are we at? Vikings, Panthers. Again, the Panthers haven't been relegated yet. Vikings are favored on the road. Who you got here?
Panthers haven't won a game. Vikings haven't won a game. Someone's got to win a game. Congratulations to the Vikings. I think if you're the Vikings, you really have to take it out on the Panthers right now in this game. Their playoff team, borderline playoff team, in a handful of seasons, past seasons, have basically the same roster. Um, Panthers have a rookie quarterback. If you can't win this game against maybe other than the Bears, looks like the worst team in the NFL. I would say right now, from what I've seen, the Panthers and the Bears look like the worst team in the NFL right now. So I have to take the Vikings just because they have more veteran leadership, more talent on paper. I think this needs to be a big statement. And your hot seat coach really needs a big win this week to get on the win column for the season.
So, help me out here, since you know all the players much better than I do. So, you say the Panthers have a rookie quarterback? But is he hurt? Andy Dalton played last week.
If Dalton's gonna play, I'm still not confident in Dalton, and the only weapon they have is Thielen, and I don't know how much more of he's played good the last couple of games, but I don't think he's gonna do enough to win you games.
Oh, this could change my my pick because is Andy Dalton? I just started typing is Andy and it said Dalton starting. The Panthers, Andy Dalton returning to backup duties an hour ago. Okay, nope, going with the Vikings here. Andy Dalton threw 361 yards and 2 touchdowns last week, and Thielen had 145 yards. And but yeah, so it says Bryce Young is set to return for Week 4 against the Vikings. Yeah, so that answers that because if Andy Dalton was starting, I was actually gonna take the Panthers here, and because he can sling it. So yeah, going with the Vikings to get their first win, to save their coach's job. But if it doesn't work out that way, yeah, I would be hard pressed to see this young Kevin O'Connell, stay employed. All right, Steelers taking on the winners last week, getting their first win last week, Houston Texans. Woohoo! Oh, I could have done, where's that, crowd applause. Proud of you, everyone here at Football Beer. That's why we're here. So, yeah, Steelers, Texans. Gosh. You know what? No, can't do it. Taking the Steelers on the road. TJ, if it wasn't for TJ Watt, I would take the Texans in a heartbeat. But TJ Watt, I got to take the Steelers.
Yeah, this is a tough one. I feel like the Texans aren't as bad as you would think they might be. CJ Stroud's played pretty well at quarterback position. Got a win, had a pretty good game last week, but you got Mike Tomlin there, TJ Watt. They get you just enough offense, and I think they can get just enough points. I think this is going to be a very close game. But yeah, I think the Steelers right now. I'm going to keep Mike Tomlin coach. I think he can pull it off on the road by a field goal also.
Okay, very good. All right, now on to our biggest spread of the week, and my Cardinals, Arizona, going on the road to visit probably a Super Bowl contender, San Francisco 49ers team in the Bay. 49ers are favored by 14. 14. I'm going to let you pick this game.
That's a big spread for a team that just beat the Cowboys. Should have beat the Giants. 2 touchdowns is a lot of points. And your defense isn't too bad. Especially your safeties. You probably have the best safety core in the league, to be honest. With Buda Baker back there and what's your other safety? He's great. But you have probably the best safety core in the league. You get off to the quarterback pretty well, which Purdy, he doesn't run around a whole lot. He just does enough to get the ball off. But I can't go against my team, so I'm going to take the Niners at home. We have won some double-digit games, so we are able to hit some pretty big spreads already so far. We are at home, so yeah, I'll take my Niners, even though that's a big spread.
Well, Buda Baker's on injured reserve, and so he
For us.
hasn't played. Yeah, he hasn't played this season, so he wasn't even in the Cowboys game.
Collins, is that your other guy?
Yeah, I think so.
He's good too.
I just think this is a big spread, and right now the Arizona Cardinals are proving they're a spread killer and Vegas killer. So I'm going to take the Cardinals on the road, not to lose by 14 points, and maybe just surprise everyone, come home with a victory. But that would be nice. Yeah. So I'm going to take my Cardinals on the road to not lose by 14. So,
Right.
yeah, be a good game.
Just don't show everybody my name's on that Cardinal ball, and I appreciate that.
Oh, gosh, yeah, Dave was proud to sign this ball.
I bought that ball
You bought this ball.
for the tailgate crew for the Cardinals.
Where's your signature at?
I was up in the corner somewhere, one of the corners, on the end.
Must be, is it this one? Okay.
Yep. That was the Cardinal Eagle game.
That the Cardinals lost. All right, so yeah, so so Cardinals 49ers in the books. Raiders Chargers. Raiders are going to go to LA SoFi Stadium to play the Chargers. Chargers are favored at home by 4.5 points. The Chargers helped me just crush it in fantasy last week. I would have done better with Tua's on my bench. What a nice thing to have. And I'm going to need him, I think, next week because I think the Chargers have a bye in week 5. So I'm going to take the Chargers at home, 5.5, and had a strong strong victory last week and had to fight for it, of course, but held on and took care of business, and I think they'll take care of business against the Raiders again this week.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Chargers. I think finally getting that win over the Vikings, getting in the win column, giving them confidence after they lost their first 2 games in really close games where they couldn't finish. They're at home. Raiders haven't looked that great. You know where Jimmy G is. He's in the pocket. He's not going to scramble around that much. If you can get pressure on him with Bosa and Mack, it's really going to help your defense, which I think they can. So, yeah, taking the Chargers also.
Yeah, that's I would have taken 7 here, and it was up that high. So, Patriots Cowboys at home. uh, healing their wounds, their pride from losing last week. Uh, Cowboys are favored at home by 7. Who you got here?
Man, this is a tough one because the Patriots aren't as bad as you would think they are on paper. They're actually playing pretty hard. Playing Mac Jones isn't playing that bad. His numbers are actually pretty good. The Cowboys, I don't know what happened to them last week. They met up that tough Cardinal team in the desert, but I think the Cowboys at home have to bounce back after that and kind of have a big home game to get the fans back into it and get their mojo back. So for that reason, I'm going to take the Cowboys at home, even though I hate them.
Yeah, I'd love to take the Patriots here as well. But I will have to take the Cowboys at home by 7. Patriots, they beat the Jets by 5. It's, there's a lot more offense. I think Mac Jones, or not Mac Jones, but Micah Parsons is going to come back with a vengeance this week, and and rack up some sacks. So we'll see. Maybe Mac Jones will cup check somebody else again this week and get shoved, and he likes to kick and hit people. Yeah, just check equipment check. So I don't know what his fetish is with that, but you go, dude. I guess. Anyway, taking this Cowboys at home by 7. Yeah, this should be all right for the Cowboys, unfortunately. All right, Sunday night. So we got through the Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon game, Sunday night. The Chiefs are going on the road to play the lowly Jets. The the Chiefs are favored on the road by 9.5 points. I'd have taken this at 14. It's probably set at 9.5 because we don't know if Taylor Swift will actually be at this game or not. It's not a home game, so probably not going to travel. Probably doesn't have a box. In New York there, so that'll take away at least one Travis Kelce touchdown. Yeah, who you got? I don't know who picked last. I'll take the Chiefs on the road.
Yeah, I'm taking the Chiefs. The Jets are a mess. You had Wilson and Carter, offensive players, yelling at the offensive coach on the sideline last week. They're yelling at the quarterback, who, I'm sorry, but I don't think Zach Wilson's a very good quarterback. He hasn't shown to be a very good quarterback. He doesn't seem to know what he's doing out there still. And I think this team really just got deflated when Rodgers went down. The whole team went down. And that was an injury that affected the whole entire mental part of that team. And the Chiefs are the Super Bowl champs. They're reigning champions. They're still figuring out ways to get it done, even though on paper it doesn't look like they have as much talent on offense.
Yeah.
They're still doing it. I mean, that's a big spread. 9.5 is a big spread. The Jets don't have a terrible defense.
Right.
They just can't score any points. So against a team that can, if they're on and calling the right plays, got to take the Chiefs.
Well, yeah, and especially if the Jets get down, right, and they have to take more chances, and that's where the abilities of Zach Wilson's going to come in, and either getting sacked because he's waiting for routes to develop, or to try to get the ball down the field. Yeah, I mean, or interception. So, sorry, I think it's going to be a tough night for the Jets. Tough Sunday night for the Jets. All right, last game. Seahawks. Seahawks and the Giants. This is another week. I don't care. Whitney cares. I care because Whitney cares, I guess. Seahawks Giants. Giants favored at home by a whopping 1 point. Seahawks going across the nation to play the G-Men. Who do you got here?
I still think no Barkley, no offense for the Giants. The Hawks haven't played bad. I mean, They didn't play that bad last year. They're not playing that bad this year. I'm going to take the Seahawks. I don't have any confidence in the Giants whatsoever. Where Pete Carroll and his staff, the guys still play hard for them. They figured out how to win some games already early in the season. They have talent. Walker at running back's a young running back. He had 2 touchdowns last week. You still have veteran receiver in Lockett. You got Metcalf that can make plays at any time potentially. You got veteran Bobby Wagner back at middle linebacker, like a coach on the field making tackles. Yeah, I'm gonna take the Seahawks.
Yeah, I am too. The last couple of weeks, they've scored 37 points a game, so they can find a way to score. And I don't think that uh, Pete Carroll is a guy that's gonna give up. Once he gets a lead, he's not gonna slow things down in the second half and let the Giants crawl back into it like the Cardinals did. So yeah, I'll take the Seahawks on the road to beat the G-men at home. Yeah, by 1 point. And so that's our Monday night game. And just to get in, Jim's been putting in his picks all night. And so he's got the Seahawks and the Chiefs, Cowboys, Chargers. Oh, I'm just scrolling through 49ers, Steelers, Vikings, Eagles, Rams, Bengals, Ravens, Bears, Bills, Jaguars, Lions. And hi there. Hey, Jim. Thanks for watching, Jim. And before we leave tonight, I actually wanted to just kind of give a shout out to my Uncle Ron out there. Spoke to him this weekend with my mother's passing, and he and I we haven't connected other than on Facebook, sending messages back and forth for, I don't know, 15, 20 years, but had a nice long conversation with him. He shared with me that he was never really much of a football fan, and he's like, why do people just waste their time watching this football and everything? And he likes fishing and stuff, but he never really got into into football, and until his son-in-law Mark came around, and just one day got him to sit down and watch a game, pick a player he liked, and said he picked Peyton Manning, and his son-in-law Mark says, no, that's my guy. You got to pick somebody else. So he's got a brother though, so he started following Eli Manning, his Super Bowl wins and stuff, but then all of a sudden he shared with me, he goes, I fell in love with the game. Couldn't, I go to Super Bowl parties, loved the game, started learning the game. He goes, I didn't know anything about it. Why is that flag? Why is that a foul? All kinds of stuff. But it was just so fun to listen to him. But Mark unfortunately passed away, and he said, shared with me this weekend that he hasn't watched a football game since his passing. He just can't seem to get back into it because he kind of lost his football buddy. So I just want to say, man, I love you out there. Hopefully, you do find your way back. Find a partner you can watch football with. Until then, as you shared, you enjoy watching our show, and so maybe we could be that springboard and get you connected back to something that you enjoyed at one time. So love you, Ron, and just wanted to let you know. And yeah, so other than that, what's your game? What game of the week, Dave, are you looking forward to watching this week?
Man, this week's kind of loaded with a lot of doozies. It's it's going to have to be one of the divisional games. The two that are kind of thinking while we're talking, I think that Dolphins Bills game definitely is on my radar. Can the Bills stop the Dolphins? Can the Bills score enough points? Those could be the two teams at the top of the AFC East at the end of the year. So I like that game. And then my other one is the Thursday night game with the Lions at the Packers. But I think I have Dolphins Bills edges that one a little bit. I think a little bit two higher profile teams that have a little bit more expectations going into the season for them this year than Lions Packers.
Yeah, I think for me it's that Dolphins Bills game. I'm absolutely gonna not miss that game this weekend, and 'cause I think this is just going to really show where both of these teams are at offensively, defensively, and how they're going to be progressing through the season, and who's going to be dominant today and carry that on. So yeah, I really look forward to that game. Of course, can't, the 49ers Cardinals game will be a fun one to watch, and for you. And I got McCaffrey as my starting running back also. So if they win by 13, it's a win by 13, and it's a win for me. So yeah. So anyway, but the Dolphins Bills should be a really good game. Any last news? Any last thing you want to share for the week?
You know what? Cheers to Debbie. I remember she, when I was a kid, gave me a full set of 1992 Pro Set football cards. It was the complete set for every team for that season. It was in a little pink binder, and that was
Really?
one of the best sets I ever had as a kid. I remember we came over to her little house that was by your dad's junkyard, the salvage yard, and I remember one of the first times I ever met her, she gave me that set, and I had that set up until 2014 when I sold it at a garage sale, and I got rid of all the basketball cards and all the football cards I ever owned. It was part of that, and a dad and his son that was about 10 years old got to get that set, and they were very into football cards and very into football, and it was great to sell all those cards to a father son combo that you could tell they bonded over sports, they bonded over cards, and so I couldn't have sold those to a better guy and his son. So, cheers to Debbie.
Well, thank you, and yeah, thank you. All right, well, with that, folks, this brings us to the end of our show. And don't if you've watched the show on replay, make sure you're a part of our show each Wednesday at 7 p.m. We're here to talk about football, get our picks in, and thank you for that, and for my mom. And so yeah, with that, I gotta sign off now. All right, guys, have a fantastic football week. Dave, cheers to you also, and we'll see everyone back here next Wednesday on Football Beer. That's why we're here, and